Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the tangle Brazen from CZT Jodi Christiansen. This one just popped out at me and I'm like, oh, how neat is that? All right. And several things. Definitely not hard to do. And it's definitely a no mistakes because however it ends up is however it ends up. Okay. And it's just neat. Okay. I'm going to just make a nice like curve line. So this would be a sort of curve line. Sort of curve line, as I said. since the tile was wanting to get away from me, okay, we're just gonna go with it. All right. Now, if you take a look at Jodi's step out, which so funny. You know how some things are just kind of like kismet or whatever. So as I'm looking, and then afterwards, I'm like, oh, look at it. She's got drawings in one of her samples. We just did that yesterday, if you're following day to day. I'm like, well, there we go. This one was meant to be, and I didn't even know it. But taking a look at her step out, she puts kind of at the bottom the steps that I didn't see it until after going, well, okay, I need to make steps for how to do that. The first thing that she's got there, and she has it right there. So I decided to incorporate that into my version of the step out. Okay, and so I say that because you can start this well, of course, you can start this any way you want. Let me show you the way I have it on my step out, and you can decide, because you could do this like piece by piece, but I'm just going to, because randomness is hard for me. So I'm like, oh, well, I'll just put some lines here, and they have to be straight? No. Do they have to be perfectly distance? No. So just, if those things are in your brain, just take them right out. Erase. All right. Then I decided, well, a couple ways you could do the step of thickening or adding weight, and they were calling it peppering. And it's funny because it's apparently fallen off of the list of tangle enhancers. I'm going to make sure to add it on because there's a tangle called pepper, right, where you add weight. It's like an orb. You add weight, to I think that one was kind of like lines like this, but you add weight to the outside. Anyway, you can look it up. I think I might have a video on it. And so that's what they're calling, this technique. It could also be, look like big rounding also. And I thought, oh, well, that's a good way. So I'm going to start here, and we do little at the top, just a little bit, and then bigger at the bottom. Now, the way I first did this, though, was I just did like a kind of a C shape, but made sure that it was, narrower here, right? But then wider, coming apart from this main, the first lines that I made, like this. Anyway, and either way, whatever works best for you, or if you just want to do like this, and I'm going to do this size, you just want to fill in. Okay, that's good. You might want to trace over, do like that, or if you need to be, like this, you could do that. Up to you. Let me get the other side here because that was making my eyeballs hurt. I'm like, wait, that looks really weird having that side. And these things don't have to be even. It looks kind of neat if they're not. And again, take a look at Jodi's step out. So the more organic, the better. Or rather, the more imperfect, the better. Let me flip to my graphic one. Now, something else is you could, if you're doing like I just did on this one, you could do all those shapes and then come back and fill them in afterwards, especially if you're going to switch to a graphic one or something. Now, I'm going to redefine this line because I don't like the little bumps. We could say, oh, I did a shape here, and then I have this weirdness. That's where I kind of like the idea. And let's see, this one, So you're going to alternate. Let me interrupt myself for a moment. You're going to alternate thick on the bottom, thinner on the top. And that's why I did every other spoke. Because see, like this was how I started doing it. I was just like, oh, let's just do like that. And then, you know, meet and kind of touch on that line. And that works too. Then I just want to make sure that we're incorporating, you know, the elemental strokes so that we make sure that we're, you know, all able to do it. That's why I like to just make sure that those, when I do my version of the step outs, I always try to make sure that it's like, make sure that we're narrowing this down to the elemental strokes. That's what I'm meaning to say. Okay, long way around it. Okay, so now, like I mentioned, we're going to do opposite on this side, right? You know, and like I said, you start out this way. And actually, if you start out maybe a little smaller than you're thinking, that way, if you want to expand it, you know, course, like I talked about course corrections in the past. All right. Fill that in. But yeah, because you can always go bigger. Okie doke. Now, and let me, and see. Well, so let me redefine this because see what I mean here. It's just like that. You want it to be kind of flowy too, and so that's what we're gonna do by redefining, and just smooth it all out. Okay. Now, last step is to put a little C-shaped curve line on the tops of all these. And so I wait till the end to do this because that way, you know, number one, since I know I'm doing it, I can be kind of sloppy. I'm pointing out all of the sloppiness. And then just add this kind of at the end. Then too, you know, I've already said, okay, yeah, I'm keeping it that width, you know, and things like that. Now, what's neat about this stroke, as you can kind of see already, is it looks like it's hugging, you know, the outside of, you know, whatever this is, this border. It really gives it a neat 3D-ish type of effect. And we do this on a number of tangles. Aquafleur comes to mind. That's the first time I think that I experienced this concept. But there you know, there's a lot of other ones that and then sometimes they'll also say there's a lot of other ones that would use it too. But then a lot of times you notice it on maybe, you know, if you're watching Rick and Maria, you know, watching a Zentangle video and you see, you know, something like, oh, now wait a minute, I know what that is. Actually, I'm going to put another, this one would be a small one. You see that kind of hanging over. And a lot of times I think what we do is we look at, look at how that looks so neat. And it's so neat how it's kind of going over the edge and giving that effect. But we know the secret. It's just a little curve line, a little bump over the edge. Okay. And just touching those up. That's it. Except we can add some shading. And let's do that. Okay. So I'm going to decide which way I want to. I kind of like it this direction. Yes, I do. So what I'm going to do is just add some graphite to one side. You know, Heather's philosophy. Pick a side and stick to it. All right. And then, gosh, even without spreading it with the Tortillion, it looks kind of neat. I'm just going to, you know, smudge it out a little bit. Tempted to redefine the original line. Yeah, maybe not. Oh, I think what I'm going to do though, let's look at this first. I think what I'm going to do next, I don't think it's going to affect it. We'll see. Because I'm going to do it. But look at the neat effect that has. Just that's what I said, pick one side, stick with it, doesn't matter. And if you were doing this, on a bigger level, same thing. And if it's like you're doing it in the round, because that's what I just suggested with my hand motion, because that's what I pictured in my head. You could switch, like as you're coming around, I'd just play with it and see what happens. All right, so because I also like to, on these borders, right? Let's really make that round, because we're implying it with, that little bump. But let's really give it an effect like that. Oh, it's so cool. I'm sorry, I get so excited. And for those, if you're new to watching me, it's just, I get excited because I couldn't draw stick figure people to save my life. That's been my story. Not an art person. Other creative things, yes, but not an art person. So I am, even just the other strokes, I was continually amazed. And how long have I been doing this? Oh my gosh, 12 years. And it's still, if I ever become not amazed, then it's then somebody to say, okay, Heather, it's time for you to go. Oh, because it's just so cool. But that's why. So if you're new to me, that just to explain, I sit and I marvel. And then, if you're not an artist either, we can call ourselves Zentangle artists. That I'll do that much. But it just, I don't know if you just marvel. And then sometimes when you look at something like several days later after you've done it, and you're like, who is it? Oh, is that mine? Wow. Who did it? Who did that moment? And it's just such a remarkable art form that Rick and Maria, celebrating 20 years right this year. If you're not aware of that, go to Zentangle.com. I haven't given them a shout out in a while. Go to Zentangle.com and number one, subscribe to their blog newsletter stuff. But they've had some events and things going on celebrating the 20 years. I think there's a link at the very top of their page, and so you can click on that and see and participate and stuff. So just really fun. All right, well, if you enjoyed this, and I hope you did, please click on the like button. And if you liked it enough to see more, please click to subscribe to the channel. The description section I mentioned, you'll find links to the step out. So I always do my own version, and then link to the creator of the tangle. In this case, it goes to Tangle Patterns. I would also, if you're not subscribed to Linda's Tangle Patterns, do that. It's an amazing resource. There are some other ones out there as well, although I always forget how to pronounce it. Is Musterkella? I think it's a .de. I've linked some to there. I don't know if they have a newsletter or a blog type of thing. I just usually go there and see what's there. But there's lots of other places. But I like Linda's because she does her best to make sure that it is, I want to say, Zentangle worthy. But Zentangle worthy. I mean, there are certain guidelines and things that we follow. So it's not how to draw a cat. And she does pretty good at following that. So anyway, subscribe there, support them. And let's see, in the description section also, so below the step out links is my Linktree link. And there you can find ways to connect with me. So if you enjoy my goofy style, come and join, come tangle with me online, me and a bunch of my friends from all over the place, the globe. Which is, it's absolutely amazing. Just amazing. But come and join us. I do a lot of them for free. I teach on Tuesdays and Thursdays, twice on both of those days. Thursdays are free. It's called Tangle Time. When you go to my website, you find the classes in the menu, and then you'll find information there. There's also places like Eventbrite where you can follow me and then see when I post classes, like other classes besides those. So I do have some of them that have a fee, and then I also have like a subscription membership club. So if you really, really like me, or you just like Zentangle and you like the stuff that we put out, take a look at that, because it might be worth your while. All right, so with that, thank you I've blathered on long enough. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.